Hello everyone. This is the very first video of my run-through of Breath of the Wild. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It came out in 2017. It is the most recent Zelda of the series. And my personal favorite, honestly. I am the Link Lord, lover of all things Zelda. And we are going to have a blast.
It will help guide you after your long slumber.
Now, this is going to be able to serve as multiple purposes. One of those purposes being, obviously, you could use it for a walkthrough, figure out how to solve difficult puzzles that you're having a hard time with if you don't want to use the guide. Stuff like that. Or if you just want to kind of kick back and watch the game instead of play it. I know there are people who would rather do that. Me, I love this game. So, yeah. Now, I have run through this game 3 times. This here will be my 4th run. Actually, I beat Ganon tonight. And then I got bored and decided I'm going to start and get my channel going. So, yeah. This is a great game. There's so many different things and cool things that they added to it that separate it completely from the other ones. For one, my favorite aspect of the game is your ability to make your own potions. And that's how you learn the value of scavenging and exploring. It pays off almost every time you do it. So I assure you, you want to take your time.
Our light.
And you want to definitely explore.
Once again. Now go.
Alright. Where we are right now is called the Shrine of Resurrection. You learn that in a little bit. You have been in a 100-year slumber. And, yeah. Now, there are going to be some cutscenes missing and stuff like that, that I really don't feel are necessary to watch. Especially if you're going to be playing the game, I'll let you experience that all on your own. This is mostly for gameplay. Now, one of the other reasons I'm doing it is because my 3rd run, it was very, very successful for me. With everything I learned about elixirs, exploratory stuff, how to parry attack, the combat system, I felt that the stuff is very useful, and someone can definitely look this up, and I'm going to try my best not to drop any spoilers for those of you who have not played the game, but it's 2019, the game came out 2 years ago, which the anniversary of that was about maybe 2 weeks ago, now that I actually bring that up. So I imagine anyone watching this should be very familiar with the game. Now, see these beetles here? You're going to run into a guy whose name is Beetle. And he will immediately know you're carrying them. And he will offer you an elixir in exchange for it. A mighty elixir, if I'm correct with the blue beetles. The gold ones, I'm not. I think actually it's the gold ones that he offers the elixir for. Hightail lizards, those are for speed boost. Now, the thing is people who usually are playing this game for their first time aren't usually doing what I'm doing, but I know the value of exploring at this point, so that's why I'm kind of walking around and taking my time. You want to talk to this fella right down here. And I'm not going to tell you who he is, but he turns out to be a bit more important than he seems. Temple of Time. So, a lot of people, when they first start this game, myself included, one of the first things that I wanted to do was I followed the guide, because this game gets difficult. There are a lot of puzzles that are not easy to solve, so naturally with a game of this magnitude in a journey this long, because as you look, oh, I don't even think, yeah, see this here? This is a very, very, very big map. There are approximately 8 towers you must unlock, so you actually can have more of an idea of where you are. As many times as I've played this game, I pretty much already know where everything is. Like this area right here is the Lost Woods. This is Death Mountain. This is the Farron region down here. Castle Hyrule is dead center. You know, but as I said, if you're playing this game for the first time or watching this for the first time, all that stuff that's nothing, you know, that you know at this point. And I cannot stress to you the value of exploring. I cannot. Because there is just so much stuff. Like once you get yourself storage, if you cut the grass, you'll find rice, rare bugs, and things like that. Decayed guardians. Now, every now and then, you are going to run into one that is alive, which we will see shortly.
On the map in your Sheikah slate.
So, oh, see, I also have to remember that I do not have my paraglider, and that's why I just tried to jump off of a high incline like that. Don't do that in the beginning of the game. Do not do that. You know, and don't try to jump off the Great Plateau yet. That fella that you were just talking to is going to be how you get off of the Great Plateau. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. There's only one of them. We're going to get the club from him. This is a red one. I'm going to try to pronounce the names as best as I can. I cannot guarantee you I'm going to say them correctly. You know, shrines, locations, places, I cannot guarantee that the name will be as I say it. I'm just going to look at it and pronounce it as best I can. Which is probably what anyone does when they play these games, because their names are a bit long and confusing. We're obviously in Hyrule, or Hyrule, however you say it. And yeah, so now the one thing about this game that separates it is your weapons. You have the ability to use a ton of weapons, but they break. They all have a durability. See, now if I have my paraglider, I was about to try to jump off of there and then glide down there and beat the crap out of those guys, but that is not an option now, so I have to just walk on down here nonchalantly and then draw my club, jump up, and do my best. Now, I also have to be very wary. I have 3 hearts. In the beginning of the game is the worst part. Not gonna lie, I actually had called the guy that I bought the game from and asked him how much it would cost for me to bring it back, and he was like, "Are you kidding me? Just, you know, give it a shot, yada, yada, yada." He explained it a little bit more. The game gets very, very, and one more time, very frustrating, because this beginning phase is just not fun. Hence, one of the reasons I decided I wanted to make these videos, because if you follow the guide, they will pretty much show you how to go from, you know, you will be going for the Divine Beasts within the first half hour of playing the game. We're going to unlock the quests and things like that, but we're not going to go for them yet. The other Zeldas were very mission-oriented, so you had to do something to unlock a certain area and go there, or, you know, solve a puzzle, or go get this guy this, or, you know, whatever the case may have been. Like Majora's Mask, you know, you gotta find all those kids and, you know, talk to the masked guy and everything like that. Good. He's up there. We're going to get a bow. Now, you see what he just did? He just sounded that little horn there. That lets all his little buddies know that, they got company. So what you really want to do, if you can, is get him first. He would have just killed me. I'm done. Nope. Oh, good, I got a shield. Okay. Those come in handy now. At the beginning phase, I cannot stress to you enough, getting life and learning how to cook. I can't stress it. You're going to want to get food, anything that pretty much helps you, replenish health. Remember, at the beginning of the game, until you meet Histu, you have limited amount of weapons, shields, and bows that you can hold. As for your ammunition for these things, is I think up to 100. You just simply won't be able to purchase them at any of the vendors. They just won't be there. You can cook your food at any of these. We're going to cook something really quick. You can hold up to 5 objects at one time. Now, these give you life. They fill your hearts up completely. Anything that gives you life, it amplifies that by cooking it. So if something gives you a half a heart normally, as you can read in the corner there, if something normally gives you a half a heart by eating it raw, then cooking it will give you probably a full one. It really depends on what it is. The acorns, things like that, they give you a very little bit of life, like a little corner of it. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm dashing. You want to be careful with that because Link will drown because for some reason water hurts people. He's a Highland, so whatever. But it uses a very lot of the stamina when you dash. So you definitely want to watch that when you're in the water because if you end up using up all of your stamina, you'll drown and you'll be thrown back to the beginning where you were, -1 heart. Oh, I forgot. I cannot activate that yet because I have to go activate the tower. That's why she wanted me to go over here. This, where I'm about to take you, is one of the biggest things about this game. The towers. Those should be your very, very first priority in any new area that you are exploring. I think you're about to witness what happens when you use up all your stamina. Okay. Nope, I did it. I was lucky. Very lucky. But, not at the risk of bragging. I'm quite experienced with this game, so, But, again, that was luck. I totally have to admit that. Okay, so here we are. This is where that tower is. Now, with the arrows, these guys, if you hit them in the head, it deals double the damage. Don't quote me on that. And, yeah. Now, nobody will hear him call for his friends when you do that. Therefore, you can sneak up on everybody. Here's something cool. This is the first. the Great Plateau Tower. Now, as I said, these should be your first priority. Because this is how you find and unlock where you are. All landmarks will be revealed to you once you unlock each tower. If you do not do that, you will not get the map. That is required. I mean, it isn't required to beat the game. You don't have to do it, but I promise you it will make things a lot easier and you will be able to locate things. Because if you don't do it, I promise you there will be things you just simply will not find.
You have been asleep for the past 100 years. The beast. When the beast regains its true power, this world will face its end.
I love this game. As frustrating as it is, I love this game. You only yell at the games you love.
Now then, you must hurry, Link.
Now, if you look online, there is a speed run. This crazy guy, he goes at Ganon with 3 hearts and sticks, and he actually beats him. It's pretty intense stuff. But we're not doing that here. Okay, so if you look over here straight ahead, you will notice that there is a shrine there. Those are amongst some of the most important things in this game. There are 120 of them in total. On this plateau here alone, there are 4 that you have to get, because this is how you unlock your runes. The towers are the easiest and most efficient way to navigate any part of a new region that you are exploring. And make no mistake, it might look close, but I promise you that it is not. That shrine that's all the way up there is in an entirely different region. So I'm going to have to get hot peppers and things like that so I can withstand the cold. So once you get to the top of the towers, you'll get a little bit more stamina eventually. Opening the towers does not give you stamina. You have to do that through shrines. You will have enough at the end of this. We're going to go up until we leave the plateau. Whether it's 3 episodes, I'm not 100% certain. I don't care about the time. I love the game. Us gamers don't give a crap about the time. We're playing an awesome game, and who doesn't have time for breath? If you're here watching this, doing what you're doing, you know. Now, a lot of this stuff I'm going to speed right through. Because, you know, we're really here for the action. We're not here for this part. And as I said, there are going to be some cutscenes that I will not include. It's because, you ever heard the term, I wish I knew then what I know now? This is one of the times where that applies, and it works amazingly. I promise you, if you watch these videos before you play the game, you will have a much easier experience. I'm not claiming that this is the best way to do it, or the only way to do it, or a guaranteed way to do it. My 3rd run was my most successful run. It was very easy for me because of my knowledge of elixirs and the value of exploring and everything like that. So I actually unlocked the entire map of Hyrule, and probably... yeah, I got the Master Sword, which, to get the Master Sword, you have to have 13 hearts, which amounts to around 41 to 42 shrines, give or take. Yeah, so by the time I had did that, I hadn't upgraded my stamina wheel, because I had known about mushrooms, staminoka fish, apples and honey mixed together. All that stuff right there increases your stamina. If I have the opportunity to get honey, I will show you, because that seems to be the most likely one to find on top of this plateau. Also, I have to see if I can find a fish. Here we go. Good, there is a fish. You end up having to cook a meal for him that he requires. It's actually required. So it's recommended that you stop at any nearby water and grab one. You are going to need it. Also, if you so happen to see any pepper plants, grab those. These little parts I'm grabbing from the Guardians really won't come into too much use to you until, toward the middle of the game. Those are very rare. Not very rare, but they're those in the cores. And it stinks because you need a lot of those to upgrade your armor, to buy the ancient armor, which gives you the ancient proficiency against ancient weapons, things like that. Any critter, bugs, grasshoppers, anything that you see, grab it. The grasshoppers increase your stamina. The frogs increase your stamina. This is the Magnesis trial, I believe, as it's, I think it's the first shrine you see. But we're going to find out right now. So, it's a very big map. And what it said, travel gate, registered to the map, which means now I can travel to this anytime I would like to. This game has a very big map. It's rumored to be 8 times the size of some very popular games, open world games. I don't really 100% know that for sure, but I do know it is a very big game. So exploring is one of the key things, and you'll be doing a very lot of it, but you can get horses, and this is the Magnesis trial. You can get horses, you can ride the wild animals, but you cannot register them. When you get a horse, you can register it at a stable, and that's where you're going to meet people who will come in handy to you. But we are going to play up until I am off this plateau, because right now, you don't really have that much. You know how it is. Beginning of every game, your character has to, develop a little bit before you can head out into the world. You learn all your necessary skills. But the guide doesn't teach you, and if you just sit there, you probably might, explore. If you just play the game and solve the puzzles on your own, you might just grab stuff and then realize it comes in handy later on, which, a lot of gamers do. Some people, like I said, with a game like this, they will just simply follow the guide. It makes life a lot easier. And, the guide will just simply guide you. A guide is mostly the easiest way to beat the game. A guide isn't necessarily the best way to play the game. It is just the easiest way. Not every puzzle can just be solved very easily. It can get frustrating and, it can get repetitive. Now these guys here, this is a Guardian Scout. That's a Guardian Scout 1. They're very, very easy to defeat. They have 4 versions of them. They have the Guardian Scout 1, 2, 3, and 4. Obviously 4 being the most difficult. And you find them in shrines, and they are tests of strength, combat strength. When you go to Cocorico Village for the first time, the shrine that rests there is the teaching of most of the combat techniques, and I believe you're placed up against a level 2. So this, now what I just completed is a shrine. There's 120 of them, and they're very similar to what I just did. This, though, introduced the Magnesis. You are going to get 4 runes before you leave this plateau. You are going to get the bombs, you're going to get Magnesis, you're going to get Stasis, and you're going to get Cryonis. This one allows you to grab anything that is metal and move it, manipulate it, do whatever you want with it. I mean, you can't like bend it and stuff like that, but if it's like a giant metal cube, you can pick it up and throw it at your enemies. You can use it to stand on and climb up cliffs that you really don't want to climb up, or things that are just simply difficult for you to do, you know, whatever you want to do with it. You can use the doors for makeshift bridges. You can even grab weapons from enemies' hands if they're metal. You know, making combat a bit easier if you're getting ready to run into an ambush. This game relies heavily on strategy. So it really does. Strategy depends on, you know, on how you want to do things. It's very recommended that you treat this game similar to Splinter Cell. Only comparison to it would be you want to examine everything before just running into enemies, because they have a lot of them hidden. They have a lot of them just, you know, you think you see 2 or 3 and you go running into the little hut and you end up realizing that there's 5 or 7 of them, and you're done before you realize it. And as I told you in the beginning of this game with 3 hearts, it's not easy. It actually really ticked me off in the beginning. And don't mind my ranting. That's sort of the point of this too, because I love this freaking game. And as I said, there's a lot of things that the guide got a few things wrong. I followed the guide the first time. There's a lot of things that the guide got wrong. And one of them was not, I mean, they did explain the value of exploring and things like that, but they didn't really break it down like I'm doing it. Because like I said, I'm going to say it like 5 or 6 times. You know, I don't like things repeated to me a million times because it makes me feel stupid and it's annoying. But honestly, if you played this game and there's someone in the room who has not, and they're watching this, you're probably going to be like, dude, he's not lying. Because like I said, I got the Master Sword without even upgrading my stamina wheel. And anyone that's beat this game knows that's pretty good. And that's all because I knew about the bugs and critters and everything like that at my 3rd run. So this is the Great Plateau. And this wraps up the first episode. We are going to see you on the next, where we are going to conquer the other 3 shrines, and we're going to get the paraglider and get the heck off this plateau. I am the Link Lord. I hope that you enjoyed, and we are going to be running through Breath of the Wild. Later, y'all.